I will say knock on doors and always reach out to people. Don't ever feel like because you got rejected a few times, that's just not gonna work. You just have to keep pushing and keep reaching out to other people that are doing something either in the same field or exactly the same that you're doing. Just because they can help you with so many things. They might not give you a client, but they might give you some good input on what you're doing. That's been a huge thing for me since the beginning. At the beginning, it's weird. You can also have a lot of that like imposter syndrome. That's how I felt at the beginning. Like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Like, who am I to interview these people? But then I'm like, no, I own the business. I worked so hard for it. I created this. I have the experience. So it feels good now. Like I'm more confident. I gotta say that. I wasn't at the beginning, but I am now.
Welcome to Begin, Build, Blossom Your Business Journey, the podcast where we share valuable insights, resources, and motivation to fuel your entrepreneurial spirit. Let's build a supportive community together. Don't forget to subscribe or follow wherever you listen to podcasts and be part of this journey. Let's pause for a moment to hear from our sponsors. You've built a name for yourself through hard work and dedication, but does managing the business side feel like a distraction from your true passion? Are you dealing with unmanaged finances? CME Accounting LLC is here to help. We specialize in organizing your financial records, allowing you to focus on what you do best. With organized books, you'll have more time for what inspires you. Whether that's expanding your influence, building relationships, or simply enjoying life. Don't let unmanaged finances hold you back. Reach out to CME Accounting LLC today and let us help you thrive. Visit our website www.cmeaccountingllc.com or email us at admin@cmeaccountingllc.com. All right, let's jump back into our conversation. Hi, today on Begin Build Blossom, we're joined by Sandra Weir, founder of the Wedding Nanny NYC, a service shaped by her 10 plus years as a professional nanny and created to bring calm, care, and joy to weddings and special events. If you visit Sandra's website, her clients paint a clear picture of her work. She creates a safe, joyful, and seamless childcare experience at weddings and special events, keeping kids entertained, supported, and genuinely happy so the adults can relax and enjoy the day. In short, her clients show us exactly what she does. She brings calm to chaos and keeps little ones happy so the celebration can flow. From their words, it's clear Sandra makes weddings easier by caring for children with professionalism, warmth, and joy. She turns wedding childcare into a smooth, stress-free experience for everyone. Sandra, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to dive into your story and the impact you've created for families on one of the biggest days of their lives.
Thank you so much for having me today, Clarita.
And we're both here in New York, and today is a very cold day.
Freezing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I hope you're keeping warm, and this conversation at least is warm. So we have that going for us.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very excited about today.
Oh, yeah, same here. And I just wanted to say that I'm just so happy that you said yes. A friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, actually mentioned you to me. And I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't know this service existed, and this is so great. So I'm just so glad that when I reached out, you said yes, and you're here to share your story with us.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm happy that we're reaching many more people. It's amazing. So, I mean, it's good for the business.
Yes, certainly. Okay, so we're going to get started with a segment we call Rapid Fire. And here we'd like to start off by asking you two words. One that describes yourself now and one you would have used to describe yourself as a child.
I think what describes me best now is I'm very proactive. And as a child, I was always curious.
Oh, nice. Yes, curiosity. Oh, I love that. And what's one of your favorite childhood memories you'd say, especially saying you were very curious?
I have a lot of them, but like my grandfather, may he rest in peace, he used to bring us to like a lot of like hiking trips. So I was always curious to explore like different. We'll go to the mountains because I'm from Mexico, from the mountains. We'll go to like different hikes in the mountains, so we'll see all sorts of animals, and it was just so much fun.
Oh, that sounds lovely. And before you started your business, what were you doing?
I was a full-time household manager slash nanny for a family here in Westchester for about 3 years. And then before then, I was doing also full-time nanny jobs.
Oh, wow. Okay, nice. I can't wait to hear more about that and how, you went from, it sounds like full time to now running your business and you're now employing other nannies. So that's great. And what is one book or movie you'd recommend?
I have not read much lately, but I did watch a movie, not because I'm a wedding nanny, but I watched Lilo and Stitch, the action one. It's so cute. Oh my God. I watched it on my latest flight, actually coming from Disney from a work trip. It was, yeah, I love the movie. It's just so catchy. I love the way they portrayed Stitch. He's like grumpy, like just as in the anime version, but he looks like a real person. Like, I don't know. It was just amazing. I love the movie. It's a must.
Oh, I haven't seen it. So it looks like I should probably bring my daughter. I have a 6-year-old, by the way.
Yeah, no, she will love it. I loved it. I watched it on my own.
Oh,
So
who knows? I may do that too. And when you said, you hadn't read in a while, it just brought back, sometimes we get so busy. And yeah, I have a book that I'm trying to finish and I haven't. So
it's just so hard with timing, but one of my New Year's resolutions for sure.
yes. What is the highest high that you can say that you've had in business?
I think just being featured on People's Magazine, that I think that made my year, honestly.
Ooh, that's huge.
It made my year. I was not expecting it. They reached out and I didn't have high hopes on it because it was postponed for a while. And then it just came out like 2 months ago. So I think that's like one of the highlights of my year.
That is quite a high there. So thanks so much for sharing that with us. Congratulations. And on the opposite side, what's one of the not so best moments you've had so far?
Well, there's been many downs in this business because, as you said, it's not a very common business. So there were a lot of factors and obstacles that I had to go through. For starters, like when I started the business, no one wanted to like insure me. So that was like one of the most difficult times, just to keep knocking on doors and see who was like able and willing to like get me an insurance for the business. And then also, right at the beginning, we did not have many bookings. So I was kind of like hesitant about the whole purpose of the business, if it was worth the time or not. So obviously that's not something it's going through my mind anymore, but it was difficult.
Yes, but I'm so glad you mentioned it because there's probably somebody listening to you right now who's probably at that point and they can see, there's the other side to that. You've gone through the process and you're there now. So I really appreciate you sharing that. So you mentioned that you were working as a nanny full time and you were also a house manager. At what point did you decide that you're going to start your own business?
It was kind of like happened accidentally. I didn't plan on it. I always knew I wanted a business, but you know how life is here. Like you get so busy and caught up with your routine. So I was very secure with my nanny jobs. My last job was amazing. I got benefits, which if there's nannies listening to this podcast when it's published, they will agree with me that there's not many nanny jobs that are like formal and that your employer treats you well. So I was very secure. I had everything I needed, vacation, sick days, you name it. But then last year, I was also helping another family occasionally on weekends, and they invited me to watch their children at a wedding with another nanny. So it was 4 children. And that's when the idea came because we were just doing what we were naturally were paid to do, right? Just like babysit the children. But then some of the guests were approaching and they were asking if we were like a service. And I was so confused because I've never even thought of it like at all. And that's when it started. I just came home and I told my husband the day after, and he said, "You should like start promoting it." It just came out like that. You should start promoting it. Not long after, I did my Instagram account, and that's how I started just posting, promoting it. I didn't have a clue what I was doing, and then I saw the need, the demand, and that's when I started to build it little by little.
Well, I just love that. You saw the need, you saw the opportunity, and you went for it. Once you decided now to actually start that business, what steps did you take? I know you mentioned you promoted it. I know you mentioned that you were looking for insurance as well. So I know there's a process there. Do you mind walking us through that?
Yeah, of course. So first thing I had to do, I had to open my own LLC, as you probably know. That was like a whole other thing to me. Like I've never even dealt with anything like that. So started my LLC, then kept looking for insurance, no success for months. And then I started posting on Instagram, which was very difficult at the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, just to be constant with my 45-hour full-time job. And then my husband and just friends and life, it just got really complicated, but I did it. And then I just started emailing wedding vendors, especially wedding planners and wedding content creators. And that's how I started getting my like few leads, my very first leads, my very first clients. I think the first weddings we had, we didn't even have inventory. Like I was buying stuff at the dollar store, just like coloring books, some like few games, balloons. So yeah, that was the very beginning on it. And then once we had insurance, I started being more consistent with my posts and I started attracting more clients. Then I had my website, which I made on my own as well. And I think everything started like moving faster than I ever anticipated. So yeah, I think last year, by the end of the year, we had like 6 weddings booked for 2025, which to me was a lot. Yeah,
Wow.
that was like
Okay.
just summing it up. That's how it started.
Oh wow. And now we're actually recording in December of 2025. And this recording may be published maybe around early next year. So just for context, you said in 2024,
Yes.
that's when you started, right? So now you were a year in. What is that like? How do you
It's
feel?
crazy because I started in June 2024. My first wedding was in July for a micro influencer, and then I had nothing until like August, and then just bookings for this year. And we're gonna close 2025 with 34 weddings, which to me, I mean, for being the first official year, it's a lot. I mean, I think it's a lot. So I'm just,
Wow, you've done 34 weddings.
yes, this year we're gonna close by New Year's Eve, it's gonna be 34 weddings.
Wow. And what does next year look like as well? Because I know you said your first year you ended with 6
Oh
weddings.
my God, next year is gonna be so busy. We have like I think 18 or 20 weddings booked already for next year, especially during the summertime and the fall. So I anticipate being very busy in 2026, hopefully.
That's amazing.
Thank you
Congratulations.
so
Oh
much.
my goodness. So are you now full time in your business?
Yes, I'm full time. I was debating because I got laid off from my job. That's another thing. I wasn't gonna leave my job because I was still being able to manage it. It was hard to manage both, but it was still doable. But then
Mhm.
I saw people inquiring for Friday weddings. Some of them wanted to move forward, and then I couldn't offer that. So I was just gonna
Oh,
propose cutting down my hours when I got laid off. But I think everything happens for a reason because I got like a very good severance package. They were super fair to me. So I think it was just God giving me a sign. You just have to jump for it. So I think now it's the best path is just being full time because even part time, it's not giving me the time to do everything I have to do to get where I want to be.
wow. And you mentioned on Friday nights there was a need there, and now you were able to do that.
Yeah, so now we got a few weddings booked for 2026 that are on Fridays, or even clients that are getting married on Saturday and they have rehearsal dinners on Fridays. We're getting
Right,
booked for
right.
those, which is amazing because that way we also get to meet the children on Friday and warm up to them, and then they're already familiar by Saturday. So it's even better.
Oh, that's great. And I said Friday nights, but yes, just Fridays in general. That's great. And you keep seeing the need and you keep fulfilling it, and then your business is growing. So that is great. Can we go back a little bit to your childhood? And is there a moment you could think of in your childhood that kind of, when you think back, you're like, this is what brought me to where I am here today?
Oh my God.
Something from your childhood, just a memory or.
I mean, I always, as I said, I mentioned my grandfather already, but I always think of him because I admire him so much. He was a real estate agent and he also did multiple things at the same time, like multiple businesses. And I always thought I was going to be kind of like him at some point, like either own a business or some sort of something like that. And I did not go to college for like business administration, nothing like that. I went to college for nutrition. But I think now that I own the business and that I'm like hustling, I don't know. I think like that's why I admire him so much because I saw a lot of myself in him. And now I think it's just, I think he's just looking down on me and be like, you're doing great. I don't know. I think that's what I can think of right now.
I love that. And in terms of the name of the business, what process did you go through to land on that name?
That's a Great question, because I changed the name recently. The name was the Nanny Boutique up to all the way up to June, I think. And I was just promoting wedding nanny services. And then another nanny from Ohio, Maya, if she's listening to this, she's like a huge supporter of me since the beginning. And we were talking, and she goes, "Why don't you just get the wedding nanny name? Like, no one has that name already on Instagram." I was like, "Yeah, it makes more sense. People are gonna like know right away that I'm the wedding nanny. There's no other wedding nanny like with that nickname in New York." So I just went ahead. I changed the LLC's name, so now it's the Wedding Nanny, and I use the Wedding Nanny NYC because it's from the area and people will recognize it easier. That's how it started. It's honestly Maya's idea. I gotta give her the credit.
I love that.
Yeah, it was her idea.
Oh, nice. So you started the business and now you're building. Um, can you maybe think of the decision that shifted your business to the next level? So I can think for one, based on what you've said, losing your job. That actually helped you to now be able to take in clients you probably would not have been able to. So granted, it probably was not what you wanted at the time, but in some way it worked out. Is there any other thing you can think of that probably helped shift to bring you to a new level?
I mean, my mindset. I was kind of like happy with my job, obviously, because they were pretty fair and great family, but I always wanted more. So I think God listened to my prayer, because honestly, I was stuck and I wasn't sure how to handle that situation, and also being able to grow the business. And I do believe everything happens for a reason. Like literally 2 weeks after I got laid off, I got booked for a Disney trip with one of my brides. So yeah, that's when I realized there's so much potential to do even more things within the same business.
I can't help but hear the fun in your job as well. You get to work with kids, you get to travel a lot. Did you expect that part of it?
I didn't. I honestly have seen nannies that do travel nanny jobs, but I did not expect to be even like be able to do something like that. And that's something that we're gonna offer now. But yes, working with children and weddings during trips is just so much fun. There's something about weddings that just makes it extra special.
Oh, I absolutely love weddings. There was a time I wanted to become an event planner, but that didn't happen. But I love planning and I love weddings. But yeah, no wedding planning for me, but I love to hear other people's stories and just to see it's great, and to see how you are helping other people have even better experiences. Because as a mom to a 6-year old, and I'm actually a single mom now. Going to a wedding, it would be, I mean, provided that, of course, my child is also invited. But most friends would know I'm a single mom. I would probably bring my kid where I'm going. So that gives them an opportunity to now include me. And I get an opportunity to include my child. And then I can bring somebody to actually care for this child while I'm enjoying the wedding. And she probably will have her own play dates as well. Win win for everybody. So I love that.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah. And so tell me a little bit about your team, because on your website, I see you have two other people that work with you. So just tell us a little bit more.
I have four now.
You're certainly growing.
Yes, we're growing fast. It's actually, yeah. Let's talk about the team because they deserve so much credit. Honestly, I couldn't do it without them. So I started with the two that are on the website as of today. Brenda and Jesse. They are my acquaintances. We were not friends, but they were friends of friends. And actually, Brenda is from my same hometown in Mexico. They're both from Mexico. Brenda's from my same hometown. And so I approached them because I like their working style. Jessie actually worked that first wedding with me where I came up with the idea. She was also working for the family during the week. So,
So she was that second nanny you
yes,
mentioned that was there.
yes. So I
Okay.
already had seen how she worked, and she's a teacher. She has a teaching degree. So does Brenda. So I was like, these girls are perfect for this. I'm going to need help. So it started very casual, right? Like, let's go to these events. They were background checked by then. But as I said, no insurance at the beginning. We were not even required to have it in some venues. But now, as things grew and it became more formal, I had to consider bringing more people. And they were amazing, but they also have their full-time jobs and they have their husbands. So as we grew, I was starting looking for more like acquaintances or friends or interviewing. And then one of my friends suggested to interview Scarlett. So I interviewed her. She's also from Mexico. She's also a teacher, bilingual 100%. Her English is amazing, and she's so good with little kids. So that's when I brought her in to the team. And then after we went viral in July. I could not do it even with three nannies. So I had to find someone in Jersey now. Started interviewing. I was posting on my stories. I was interviewing people that I didn't know because that again, now I needed someone based in New Jersey for convenience as well. So I interviewed like 20, 25 people. A lot of people were great. But then I met Maggie. So Maggie, she sent me a DM. She sent me an email with her resume, with references. She was so proactive, and I instantly knew she's the one. We had a FaceTime call and then a Zoom meeting. She is incredible. She's amazing. You can even read the reviews on Google. Some of them are just directed to her because she does events on her own when it's one or two children. She's amazing. So I'm really, really happy to have the four of them in my team now.
Let's pause for a moment to hear from our sponsors. You've built a name for yourself through hard work and dedication, but does managing the business side feel like a distraction from your true passion? Are you dealing with unmanaged finances? CME Accounting LLC is here to help. We specialize in organizing your financial records, allowing you to focus on what you do best. With organized books, you'll have more time for what inspires you. Whether that's expanding your influence, building relationships, or simply enjoying life. Don't let unmanaged finances hold you back. Reach out to CME Accounting LLC today and let us help you thrive. Visit our website www.cmeaccountingllc.com or email us at admin@cmeaccountingllc.com. All right, let's jump back into our conversation. Wow, and that says a lot about you too, that people want to work with you. They want to work with you so much that they're proactive. They send you a DM, send you their resume over. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. I was very lucky, honestly, with all of them. But Maggie was godsend. Like she's amazing.
So now you're going from working for somebody and now you're interviewing other people to work for you. I know you mentioned just now that you had like over 20 interviews. What does that feel like being on the other side?
At the beginning, it's weird. Like you can also have a lot of that, like imposter syndrome. That's how I felt at the beginning. Like I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. Like who am I to interview these people? But then I'm like, no, I own the business. I worked so hard for it. I created this. I have the experience. So it feels good now. Like I'm more confident. I gotta say that I wasn't at the beginning, but I am now, and I think this business can grow so much, and there's so much potential. So I have to treat it as that with professionalism and gratitude, and yeah.
Yes, for sure. And do you see that there would be a time where you'd probably not be in the field, like they would say, and you would basically have a team that does the work? Like, how do you see that working out?
I think a few months ago I thought about it, but then as we are expanding, I've been also had meetings with other business owners in different states. So for instance, I spoke to this woman that owns Wedding Sitter in California in LA, and she was telling me about this. She's been doing this for 15 years, but she said once she tried to step back and just send people, she noticed that clients still want to see you because you're the face of the business. So I don't think that's gonna happen 100%. I mean, it's happening a little bit with Maggie because she does events on her own when it's in Jersey and it's one or two kids. It makes more sense. But I still team up with all of them to go to bigger parties. So I think it's good for me to be there because I can see the quality of the work that we're doing. And also, like, you always run with different situations. So, me being the leader and the boss, it's good to be there for those situations so we can always make sure to improve them in the next events that we have.
Thank you for sharing that. And you're still very early, so there's still time to figure out what that looks like. I was just very curious because it's just kind of good to get the perspective in the moment now in the business, and then later you'll probably reflect on that and see what it's like then. And when it comes to, you talked about professionalism. When it comes to like handling things like marketing and accounting and other such, I guess some people would call it admin stuff, how do you handle that and how is that working out for you?
I am managing everything as of now, like all my marketing, all my social media, all my inquiries, follow up with clients. I've been dealing with that. You have to be so organized. You have to have a schedule for everything. That's what I've noticed. And now that I don't have a full-time job, for example, Mondays is my main follow-up day. A lot of people are like
Hmm.
very behind because they have children. So the weekend they're spending time with their family. So Mondays are it's a big follow up day for me. I try to have all my videos made and then just schedule the book, like the days that I'm gonna post them, they're scheduled already. So that makes it easier for me. And then for the accounting, I just recently, actually a few months ago, started with an accountant who's here in Westchester, and he's been helping me also. That's new because I've never owned a business, so the accounting side, it's very important.
Yes, very, very important. So I'm really glad that you've done that. And just seeing the value in that, I think you've done the right thing. So that's great. That's where you're at. To recognize that you're growing and the team is growing with you, not just on the nanny side, but also ensuring that the business runs in a certain way, right? Before we move on, I want to ask about a time that you've probably felt like you wanted to give up. Have you experienced that so far?
Yeah, a few times. I think the main time was back in the spring. Spring was kind of low, and then I had all these people I was following on social media, and they were posting they were like fully booked for next year, and here I am with just two weddings, one for I think it was March, and we had one in May and like one in September. So I was like questioning myself, like, is this worth it? I'm investing all this time sending emails to vendors and trying to make content and sending out DMs. That was a hard time for me because I did believe in the business. I just wasn't seeing the conversion of it. So
Right. And I love that word conversion because sometimes you see that you're doing all the work, you're doing everything that you're supposed to, but it's not quite converting. So, so that is even for me, that is definitely a challenge. But now that you basically have a lot of conversions happening now. You have, let me see, I see you already have 20 for next year. You're ending this year with 34. So something is going right. So what would you say that is? Or what are the things you would say that really has turned things around for you?
I think we're building a reputation. So for example, we had to raise our prices like a month ago because I wasn't giving me the money that I needed to make. For example, for my nannies, just charging for my nannies wasn't even making me any money. So I had to readjust. And even readjusting, I've seen that we're still converting a lot. And I think it's because of the reputation that we've created. We are displayed, I think, on social media pretty neatly. We're professional. All my nannies are like super educated. We all have bachelor's degrees. Some of them have masters. So I think it's the way we treat our clients, not just the children, but also the couple that hire us and the whole process since the moment that we get the first call until we finish the event. So I think that's what's been helping to see results now. Good results.
Yes. Oh, wow. I love it. And you mentioned that you were on People Magazine. Just share anything you can about that because to me that is very
It is
exciting.
exciting. I mean, it was a very unique experience because I've had interviews before with other newspaper and like online magazines, but this one was special. They asked everything, like they wanted to know what was our nanny and child ratio, how many nannies I employed, and everything related to what we do with the kids since they're getting ready up to wedding reception. But I mean, obviously there were good items in the interview, but there's also things I didn't like, and I want to share some of this. They asked about prices, and I think I don't know if you lose credibility because we still had a lot of traction of clients and people that were interested in speaking to us after the article came out, but kind of the way that they portrayed it, it was very like, look at me, that's how much these nannies are charging, and that's never been my intention. Like I always try to keep things neutral and professional, and I don't want to catch the client's attention from the wrong reasons, you know what I mean? So that's the only thing I didn't like, but other than that, I think the article was very well put together, and they also actually used some of the shots that we did for our photo shoot branding that we had like 2 months ago, and I think that came out pretty well.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. I'm also curious about like when you first found out that they were going to feature you. Is it that somebody sent you an email and you probably like don't believe it and somehow you still respond?
It's actually that's good that you asked that because sometimes you don't even think it's legit, right? So when she emailed me, I looked her up. I was like, who's this person? Because they email you with their work email, but the first and last name is there. So I looked her up and she did have her Instagram and she had her LinkedIn. So I was like, okay, it's legit. they're okay, it's good. But there's been other people that I've approached. Not I can say it because it didn't go through, unfortunately. Like for example, Tamron Hall, the show, they also approached me and they emailed me and then they texted me. So when they text you, it's kind of like, why are you texting me? You're like a major outlet. But yeah, I think I'm very skeptical. I could say it. But I looked them up and it turns out they're all like legitimate people. So
Okay.
yeah.
And you know, if you don't mind, I will just ask some other questions there because I am new, relatively new in podcasting. And when I reached out to you, I was like, I'm not sure if she'll respond, but let me just reach out anyway. And I was very happy when you did, but in my head, I'm thinking, what if she thinks I'm not like, this is on me? Or because I get requests all the time, people saying all sorts of stuff, and I'm like, oh, I know this is not true. But so when I now reach out to people that I don't know, I always wonder what I could be doing to make them understand that this is me and I'm truly interested in your story. So do you mind maybe just going through that a little bit so I could learn what, the experience is like for somebody that I'm reaching out to?
I just think that you're not expecting to be reached out for these many people, right? So I will expect, for example, some kind of like your YouTube channel, for example. I think I believe you sent it, but if you didn't, I'm sure I looked it up. So
Yes, I
I
shared.
think you did.
Yeah,
So,
I
but
shared everything. I'm like,
good,
at least if they look at this, they
right?
will
So
see.
then that makes it seem more legit. So and then you're not so worried, like, oh, am I gonna waste my time? Is this like a real person? Like, who is this person, right? So to me, that will be like a major thing to see, or like your LinkedIn profile, like you're an accountant, so I see you have your own business. So that will be a major thing for me if I had a professional reaching out, maybe LinkedIn, or maybe a link to your social media to see who you are.
Right. Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm glad that there's a credibility there, and we've definitely been doing a lot. So, and we really want to feature even more stories. So I just love to learn what works so that we can continue to do it. So thanks for sharing that. And you mentioned about insurance, and you said that was a challenge. You don't have to if you don't want to, but anything that you can share about that for somebody else experiencing that, we would love to hear it.
Oh my goodness. I mean, this situation was very tricky because it's not a very common service, as I said. So when you work with children, you have to get this type of insurance that the daycares have, which is not easy to get. And then think about that, like a daycare has more children coming in and a fixed income, right? So for this situation, you don't have a fixed income because events can vary a lot, like within month to month or a year. So the biggest challenge was when I did get a quote, when someone said, okay, yes, this is your quote, the price was absolutely high to what I was making. So I was like, I can't afford that. That's prices for like a daycare that has 100 kids. I don't have that capacity yet. But I did have a full-time job. So I was like, I need to bet on myself, right? So at the end, what I can advise is just do shop around, call multiple people and don't settle for one. Just because one person says yes and five already said no, that doesn't mean that there's someone else that can give you a better quote. And that's what happened to me. I spoke to over 20 or more people, and at the end of the day, I had some really high prices, and then I had middle, and then I have lower ones, right? The lower one not necessarily is the best one because it might not have the coverage that you need for your business. So you have to look at everything, like general liability, how much does it cover? Does it cover child molestation? What does it cover? Professional liability? And then that's where I made my decision. But I did a lot of shopping around because I had to.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. There's so much that goes into starting a business and keeping that business going, right? There's somebody listening who you're speaking to directly. So I'm just happy that you're sharing that with us. Honestly, your enthusiasm really comes through. I love your honesty. You're telling it to us as it is, and I really love that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So moving to the Blossom segment, how would you say your confidence has grown or you've seen things change for you personally since you've started the business?
Well, things have changed because they had to. Like, there was no other option. Now that it's my full time job, I've seen I'm more committed, whereas at the beginning it was more like a side hustle, if you can say it like that. So now I'm definitely more committed. I'm more proactive when it comes to like following up. And I've seen that's a huge thing. Following up in this industry, it's crazy. Like sometimes you have 10 people that are interested, but then they fall through because you're not doing the follow up. So that's a major thing. Putting myself out there, not just for my clients, but also for podcasts such as this interview, events, networking events. That's when I started to feel like I was blossoming, when I was open to do other things.
Great. And what does networking look like for you?
Networking is fun. Like sometimes it's like on weekdays because I mean weddings are on weekends, so it's mostly weekday events. I met a lot of people that I actually work with after we met, which is amazing. For example, we had this bridal expo that we went to last year in Nyack, and I met this makeup artist. She's a hair and makeup artist in Scarsdale, and we've just been following each other. And then when I did my branding photo shoot, she offered to do my nanny's hair and makeup, and she brought her team and everything. So you never know when their working can take you. You do never know.
That is so true. That is so true. So tell us, what does success mean to you?
Success, it's having everything that you want, but not just financially. It's also the way you feel about your own self and your business. That's what I think is success. It's not just about how much you're making, it's about how you feel.
Yes, yes, I love that. So as we close out, is there any advice that you'd like to share with somebody looking to start a business right now? Maybe something similar to what you're doing. I mean, maybe same industry or just a business in general.
I will say knock on doors and always reach out to people. Don't ever feel like because you got rejected a few times, that's just not going to work. You just have to keep pushing and keep reaching out to other people that are doing something either in the same field or exactly the same that you're doing, just because they can help you with so many things. They might not give you a client, but they might give you some good input on what you're doing. That's been a huge thing for me since the beginning.
Right, I love that. And I believe that reaching out, you just never know where it can lead.
Yes.
Tell us, how can listeners reach you?
They can find us on our website. It's www.theweddingnannynyc.com. Then our Instagram is at theweddingnannynyc. And then they can also send me an email for an inquiry or a resume if they want if they want some extra job. It's at theweddingnannyny@gmail.com.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed our conversation. And yeah, with both of us being in New York, I'm sure we'll probably, not I'm sure, New York is a big place, but I have a feeling that we will see each other in person. So thank you so much for spending time.
Thank you,
Yes.
Clarita. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're most welcome. And thanks so much for sharing with us. Until next time, continue to blossom and to grow your business.
You too.
All right.
A quick note before we wrap up. The insights and experiences shared by our guests are their own. We love creating space for real conversations about business and growth, and everyone's journey is unique. Therefore, this podcast is for informational and inspirational purposes only. It is not meant to replace legal, financial, or other professional advice. So, we encourage you to take what's useful, do your own due diligence, and build what works best for you.
Thanks for listening to Begin, Build, Blossom Your Business Journey. We hope today's conversation gave you the insights and inspiration you need to move forward on your own path. Don't forget to subscribe or follow wherever you get your podcast so you never miss an episode. Do you have feedback? We'd love to hear from you at podcast@cmeaccountingllc.com. Join us again next week for a new episode.